Built as a response to the rising sea levels, the wall is a colossal structure spreading out across a coastline. The wall defends us from the others who were less fortunate. Since the change, there have been many countries which have been flooded and are suffering from drought. These conditions are not sustainable for human life, creating many climate refugees which move out to seek safe haven in other countries. But we are not yet ready to shelter them and have to take drastic measures, which lead us to the wall. The defenders which man the wall are conscripted on a 2-year service and have the orders to kill the others on sight without any questions asked. Failure to do so will result in their exile or their death. Let's meet one of our defenders and see how he's doing. Nice to meet you there, Martin.
Nice to have you here as well.
So let's talk about yourself. Can you introduce yourself for our viewers?
So, as you rightly said, I am Martin. I've been a defender in this wall for around 1.5 years now, and hopefully within 6 months I'm going to leave this place. As the laws require us, it is important for us to serve here for around 2 years. So it's very deadly day in and day out here, but it's feeling great that within 6 months I'll probably leave this place.
That's good to hear. So, how was your first day?
My first day here at the wall was again very unusual, I would say, as is mentioned by my friend Kavanagh as well, that the first day here is no less than a torture. You have to leave your family members because again the law requires you to serve for your country here at the wall that separates Britain from the sea, and the others can attack you at any time. So basically you have to serve here 12 hours in a day, and the only break that you have is when the cook or someone else brings you a tea, and which you get enough time probably to drink. So you count on times, you count on as to how much of a time is left in a day, you count on months, and you just expect this entire 2 years goes by. Within this entire 1.5 year, I've faced a lot of problems, I've faced a lot of attacks, but I've been able to go through it.
That's good to hear. Such an able defender as you is needed by a country. So tell me, have you met any of? Are there any breeders in your company?
Yes, so there's a rule again that since no one in this country wants to breed or produce children, this is mainly because, as per the novel as well, my friend Kavanagh, as he mentioned, this is mainly because of the fact that people in this country don't want to give rise to more and more children because there's already a shortage of food supply within our own country, due to which there's a rule that for every other who crosses this wall, a defender would have to go in the sea, because we cannot actually have more and more children within our society. So there's a rule, if you breed, you will have to, you can actually be exempted from this 2 years of service here at the wall. So I've met a lot of breeders, but again, we do not prefer breeding just because of the fact that we don't want to produce and bring unfortunate children into school.
So, how are your family doing? Are you on what can I say, respectable basis with them?
No, unfortunately, I am not. This is mainly because we nowadays, I don't know if I sound good, but sort of despise our family members, because they were the reasons as to why this entire catastrophic event happened, why this wall was built, and why everyone who comes new in this world is expected to serve 2 years here at the wall. This has now become a norm. That's why we sort of despise our parents. Even in the 2 weeks gap that I have, the duty that I have off from this wall, whenever I go home, I am not able to actually meet my eyes with my parents' eyes. This is specifically because of the fact that even they know that they were the ones who were spoiled this world, due to which the next generation, that is us, have to suffer so much.
So, what are your viewpoints on the existence of health?
Existence of help. So The ones who cross this wall, the others who are outside our country, whenever they cross a wall, if they are able to do it successfully, they are taken as help. So you are not required to give any salary to any of the help members because they are as your servants, but then you need to provide to them food and other bed and comfort, which is again a huge amount of cost. So unfortunately, we are not in the elite class who are fortunate enough to have help.
Isn't it somewhat reminiscent of I shouldn't say, but the slavery system in previous world?
You are correct, but that's how it is. In this world that's been destroyed, even if someone who has become a slave is probably a kind of an achievement for them, because compared to their previous existence, they are on this other side of the wall, in the sea, on the island, wherein they have a lot of shortage of food supplies. And I'm in such a scenario wherein I consider myself blessed, even though to be killed by their gun than to be in their position. This is because they're living in such an unfortunate situation there, in the open island, wherein they have no food supplies, etc. So for them to get into this country and even be a slave is kind of a luxury for them.
Nice to meet you, Martin.
Thank you, Camera. It's been a great interview, and I must congratulate you on this great initiative that you have taken. You are coming here to the wall, going to the others, trying to find a solution. Best of luck in this. Thank you so much.
Here I am beyond the wall to meet one of the others and listen to his story. So, hey Arthur, how are you?
Hi Cameron, nice to meet you.
One of our few others who have reached out to us and will listen to his story now. So, how is life at the sea?
Talking about life at the sea, like it is extremely challenging for us to survive in such a harsh conditions. Every day there is a new battle between the natures and its elements. Like there is an abrupt climate change here, and sometimes it is extremely cold, sometimes it is extremely hot. And apart from this, there is a continuous storms and speed winds coming all through there, making our life extremely difficult to survive in such types of conditions. Apart from this, talking about apart from the nature, there are also very scarcity of resources and food. All times we live on the sea. We don't have a proper land where we could put our feet. We survive in the boats. Many of our crew members don't have a proper boats. They just survive in the rafts made up of wood, and many of them drowned and lost their life. So it is extremely difficult for us to live in such situations. Plantations are also very difficult in such types of scenario where there is a less availability of soils, and the content of the soils and its nutrients is also very less. Whatever we are eating, we get from the sea, and the killing the animals and all. So overall, it is very difficult for us to survive on such types of situations. And apart from these things, there is also constant threats from the defenders who kill our soulmates and friends. And the life we also know that these all things whatever happening there is all are the mistakes of our past, because we exploited our natures a lot. And we know that even if we try to cross the walls and go that side, then also there are very limited resources, and it would be very difficult for us to survive on such a harsh condition. But still, the only thing, like many of our friends have thought to give up completely, but the only thing which is keeping us alive is like hope, and we hope that one day we will get something which will help all of us.
Have you yourself thought about crossing the wall?
Yes, we as a friend, we all as a friend considered to cross the wall and go that side, because the life at that side of the wall is better as compared to here, because here it is extremely challenging. But yes, I said earlier that there is a constant threats from the defenders that they might kill us. That's why we had not tried it.
But you know that even if you climb the wall and are able to successfully cross it, there is this system called help. So, if you are able to cross the wall, you will have no choice but to be a help, and which would be in terms something like forced labor. You would not be paid for luxuries. The only thing you will be afforded is clothing and food.
Yes, I am well know about this situation, but still living on a sea even where there is not a proper land where you can keep our feet, and living in a boat for the life, it is like compared to this situation I think is better, where you at least get a proper soil and proper land where you can survive. And there is also constant threat of the storms and natural resources not having a proper health treatments and all, and the chances of survival are really very minimum, where maybe there's some wild animals or some mammals from the sea can attack you. So instead of living in such situations, like we are ready to live on such as a labor on outside of the world. So we are ready to cross it. That's why we are.
Very well. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Now that we have heard the perspective from both of the sides, let's summarize what we have learned till now. The world is set back after a series of climate catastrophes, collectively referred to as the change. Millions of people have died or displaced. Unable to handle the influx of refugees, Britain has built a wall to keep the other refugees out, which is defended by the defenders. The social structure of the British society is somewhat like this. At top, we have the elites, which are the rich and the political class, leading the rest of the communities. Below them, we have the defenders, which are the youth conscripted to defend the wall, and the others, who want to climb the wall to get into our society. Those who succeed are known as the help, which are state-owned labor employed for bread and board. As heard from Arthur, the life at sea is treacherous. Since most of the land since most of the landmass is submerged after the change, there is an endless sea. Pirates roam and terrorize others, and small community of sailors are formed but are easily broken up owing to the many climate storms and the pirates. The life is characterized by a critical lack of resources. Now that we have read these problems, we shall strive forward to find a solution to all of this. The first problem is the climate refugees. Since we have since we can agree that the current state of affairs is not ideal, we need to discuss how we can handle things better. Would you like to add any ideas, Mr. Arthur?
Yes, I would like to give some ideas to solve the problem between the conflict between the defenders and the um, others. First one is that the resources sharing agreements. Like we can establish a proper agreement between the two of us to collaborate and share resources. Like they can supply the essential supplies like food, water, and medical aid. And regular exchange or controlled trading zones could help meet both groups and fulfill our basic needs and generate trust over time. Apart from this,
Uh,
we can like
Sorry to interrupt you here, but I think that the resources in our country is already pretty scarce. We as defenders are fortunate to get good food supply because we are risking our life for 2 years. But in general, the the resources in general within our country is so scarce. That's the reason as to why we have to defend our wall against anyone outside, because we cannot provide resources to anyone else. So how do you see that?
yes, I agree that resources are very minimum, but I'm not telling about all the resources, like just some basic needs like proper drinking water supplies or some basic foods which is needed for basic human survival. Because we at the other side of the wall are also people who also need food or proper water to survive. Some basic medical facilities could also be provided for our persons who are getting injured in the sea. Apart from this, like we can also have some skill building program We live in the sea, which are like more challenging as compared to the persons living beside the wall. So some like skill building program can help us to like learn some valuable skills, which help to like reduce the chances of getting attacked by some wild animals and all. So some basic facilities are needed instead of ignoring completely the people living besides the wall. So these are some of our demands.
But Mr. Arthur, the most of land is under the water, and we are not able to cultivate that much crop or food to fill our stomachs. How will we feed you if we cannot do so?
Like I already said that I'm not strictly demanding about the food and all the resources, but some basic facilities like at least some drinking water or some skills building program or some types of coalitions which could help people living besides the wall could really improve our life. Instead of ignoring completely, we can do something this to make our life better.
Would you like to add something, Mr. Martin?
Yes, definitely. The demand that my friend Arthur here has from the other side of the border, who's living on an island, I do understand the unfortunate situation he's facing now. I think all the demands have been kept in place, the food supply, water supply, training, etc., are things which we are currently already suffering from. Hence, we have built a wall around, and hence we are putting our lives protecting these wall from the others, from people like Arthur, so that they could not get into our country. This is not because we don't want people in our country. This is just because we don't have resources to feed them. I think we can move ahead with this proposal if my friend who's sitting here from the other side of the wall or the other side of the border agrees that they would no longer attack us, because our country already has spent a lot amount of money on the ammunition, guns, rifles, and uh, deploying a lot of soldiers, defenders like me on the wall, so that we could protect our country from others like Arthur. So, in return, if they promise us that they won't attack us, I think we could save a lot of our money on such resources, because the only threat that we face or that our wall faces is from the others.
Yes, but there is also the issue that we literally can't support them. Our First of all, our climate does not support farming or cultivation. Like there is a rule that there was a rule that the others who were able to cross the wall would be given employment, such as captain, your captain, who was once a other himself. But this was later abolished because uh, there was, and in its place there was this new rule that put one other for one defender. So for and every other that crosses over, one defender has to be put to the sea. That shows how dire the uh, resources are. Can they help sustain themselves? Even they are seafaring uh, people, would they be able to sustain themselves on the sea if we give them
I
support?
think, yeah. So, given the fact that they are already living in an island, that they are living in an unfortunate situation, there are two problems, as you mentioned. One, the fact that we don't have enough resources, as I completely agreed upon. And two is, even if we give them resources, will they be able to survive? I think problem one can be negotiated by the fact that if they promise us that they won't attack us, I think we can save a lot of finances from the ammunition, from the deployment of soldiers, etc., which can help us probably spend more in technology and get more produce from the smaller lands that we have had, or other look for other alternate sources that can give us food, or trade with other nations for food supply. So these are the alternatives if we save our money from ammunitions and arms, which we currently have to do to as to protect our wall from the others, like Arthur. The second problem is that even if we give them food uh, and all the facilities that they are demanding, even then, whether or not their life would be good at the island or not, because they have to face wild animals, face wild mammals. I think even if they cross the wall for which they are so eager, for which they are fighting against us, even if they're successful in doing so, they're still acting as a slave within our country, right? Because the rule says that once another crosses a wall, a defender goes into the sea, and that other acts as a help. That means he acts as a labor or a slave to someone else. So even then, you would have to listen to someone's order and just barely live your life with some food. Given the fact that we are giving them food supply, they actually have an option of probably living in an island. I know it's difficult, but I think it might be a better proposal than probably being a slave to someone else.
Like,
Okay.
I would like to say, like, talking about the first point, like, which you had said, that, like, if we, obviously, if we given the resources, for our survival, like, for our basic needs, then we'll not try to attack the defenders, because they are also human beings, and our aim is not to attack someone. Uh, we just want to live a better life, which we are living now. And if we use the resources, then we will not be a burden on them, because rather than seeing us a additional burden refugees, we can also help them to build a sustainable infrastructure, such as some water recycle systems, and this would improve the food and water availability for everyone in the long term. Apart from this, uh, we as a vast group also act on some new types of renewable energy for food production, like solar or wind power facilities, which could help to create a controlled environment for farming, or converting seawater to proper drinking water. Using these resources and our labor, we can boost food production or access to fresh water, which will help the community in large number. Um, Talking about the second points, like what you were told, like second one, that we would able to survive or not if given the resources. Uh, still we have the very less chance to survive with zero resources. But if we support us through some skills building program or providing some resources, then by at least 5% or 10% our life expectancy would increase, which is better than our previous situations. Like still we will not confirm that we will able to survive on the sea, but our life expectancy can raise to certain level, which could help our group to survive in the sea. So these are my viewpoints.
Okay, and that seems to give a satisfactory conclusion to this problem. So the next problem that I would like to uh, discuss is isolationism. So since the change, our society has become isolated from the rest of the world, as Martin would agree, since he has been defending the wall for uh, 1.5 year, Martin, right?
Yeah, 1.5.
So, and while I was traveling to meet Arthur, I also saw that most of the people mostly keep to themselves, and they are not in the place to help others. And yes, so how would we tackle this problem? Since we are lacking fuel to support transportation or trade, and the sea currents all have also changed since the rising of the sea levels. Would you like to offer some insights?
Okay, I'll go first. So since as you have said, after the climate change, the fuels are very scarce. Whatever fuel is left, the prices are so high that you cannot afford to travel by aeroplanes if you're not in the elite class, which I'm definitely not. I'm a commoner, a person who defends the wall. So you take days and days. You'll have to travel by some other traditional methods, which take a lot of time. That is why you are isolated from this entire world. I think the main reason of isolation is one, because of the fact that you hate and despise your ancestors, because you feel that they are they are the reasons as to why you are suffering. They are the reasons as to why this divide has been created between defender and others, and this wall is being created. If they have acted wisely, they could have done better. I think, yes, these are the reasons. And as far as how can we counter this or how can we reach a solution to this is concerned, I think this can be done only by appreciating the fact that what is done. Yes, we are in a very unfortunate situation, but it's realizing the fact that for you to overcome this situation, for you to save this humanity and prevent from reaching the post-apocalyptic world, it's important that you take everyone's viewpoint. It's important that everyone supports you in this minimalistic behavior, and you start making advances together, because you need an effort which actually moves mountain to actually come out of this situation, for which you need the effort and help of everyone who is present in our society, be it us or be it our ancestors who had already made a mistake.
Would you like to add some points, Mr. Arthur?
Yes, as Vedansh had said, I have also similar perspective. Like the problem can be discussed further. Like there is a not only one solution for this, but yes, we can solve this problem only if we all collectively work. Because if there is a such types of barrier between us, then to create a
It was really good that we all sat together, and I think this was the first time I'm not aiming a gun at any of a person who belongs to the others. So it was really good to have different perspective from the people from other side of the world, and try and discuss solutions. Thank you so much. Thank you so
like
much,
uh,
Arthur from the other side, for joining, and thank you so
uh,
much, Cameron, for taking this initiative altogether.
thanks, Martin, and especially thanks to Cameron for putting all things together and solving the barrier between all of us and discussing the potential solutions. Thank you again.
Thanks for joining you too also.